Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Gemini, Sun, Moon or Rising, and it's the weekly reading for the week of October 14th to the 20th. So this week, Gemini, you have the No Oracle card. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Death card, the Star, Strength, Eight of Cups, and the Page of Swords. So we've got, half the spread here is Major Arcana, Gemini. So this is not like a fleeting situation. There is something that's fairly significant that you're going through. Generally, the more Major Arcana, the more significant. And the more that the situation links to sort of karmic life lessons and that kind of thing. So we can definitely see something quite strongly has come to an ending or is in the process of it at the moment. And I think there definitely is some healing and processing to be done before you can move on with your next chapter. And I think that's what's being reflected here in your No Oracle card. It's saying that it's time to wait, pause, and postpone before you really make the hard decisions or the decisions of how to move forward and where to move on to. It's asking you to take a moment of pause this week. So I'm just going to start by reading out that Oracle card for you. You're being called to either pause or say no. Saying yes to something that isn't in alignment with you will drain your energy and your time. Hold out for a congruent, aligned 100% yes. Often we are looking for guidance to make a decision. It can be frustrating not to move into clear and considered action. However, timing is everything. And not receiving clear guidance is actually guidance in itself. So yeah, I think you're in a little bit of a waiting period, a bit of a calm after the storm period here, Gemini. Sometimes we just have to surrender and allow divine timing, universal timing, the natural rhythms to take over rather than trying to sort of push and force things. That's what I'm really feeling here. Because I think some of you, are recovering from some type of ending or some kind of situation that's come to pass in your recent past. So here, we have the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles can be, a range of things. It's that feeling of kind of isolation, worry, anxiety. It can also be that sort of negativity, that negative mindset where lack breeds lack. Or, when you sort of get into those negative headspaces and then all of a sudden it sort of seems to spiral and you're attracting more of that experience to yourself. That's what I'm seeing with that Five of Pentacles. It's, that cycle of loss and lack. These people here, they're without the proper clothing, without shoes and that sort of thing. But they can't see that right behind them, or they don't see as they're passing, is this beautiful refuge of the church. So it's kind of that reminder that, it's through seeing the bigger picture, through allowing, divine timing, divine guidance, that's when, we can change. That's when we can transform. But I think in the past there was an element of not seeing the bigger picture. So potentially maybe you were in a relationship where you didn't really want to, look at the hard facts or see it for exactly what it is. Maybe that little bit of ignorant bliss. Same can be said for, in the workplace, job, that kind of thing. Maybe, not willing to see that potentially you've been taken advantage of, or maybe a friend was taking advantage of your goodwill. It's that kind of thing, that sort of not seeing the bigger picture. But I feel with the Death card, with this card here, that cycle has come to pass for a lot of you, or some of you may be in the process of this at the moment. And what I like about the Death card in this reading is that this, for me, the Death card, or that energy of completion, comes in as a natural rhythm, as divinely guided. It's not something that we generally push. It's kind of like death comes in and then is upon us. So that death energy says that, it was time for that situation to come to an end, that relationship, that job, that friendship, whatever loss you might be mourning now, it was the right time for that, because it was no longer serving you and no longer, keeping you on the right, life path that you were supposed to be on. So death has come in, it's cleared the way for you. And it's cleared the way to create space for things that are more fulfilling for you. And I think at the moment, you are in that in-between space, but Spirit is asking you not to make the big decisions this week. And I think it's because you are needing to heal. And, we know that after a cycle of when death's come in and cleared the slate for us, usually there is quite an alchemical transformative process going on, but it can take some time to integrate it. But, death gives us the promise of that new dawn, new day on the horizon. It just says that, yes, there might be a bit of a process of letting go to go through first before that, that sun can burst through. So, we have to allow death energy to come in and do its work. And I think that's what a lot of you are recovering from at the moment. So this week here, so we've got the Star card and the Page of Swords. So the Star card, this usually follows the Tower energy in the tarot deck in the order of the cards. For me, this is the calm after the storm card. And death can also be that sort of storm. It's similar to that Tower energy that kind of clears or brings down a construct in our lives so that we can start from a clean slate, a fresh start, that kind of thing. So I think this is the pause here that you're being asked to take, with this oracle card, this universal guidance saying, say no to major decision making this week. That's because you need to go through this process of rebalancing, recalibrating, realigning your emotional energy, your physical energy, doing some healing, some self-reflection, integrating this change that you've gone through. Some of you have let go of a relationship. Some of you might have left a workplace that you're worked with a lot of beautiful friends and it was hard for you to leave. So there has been some kind of loss, some kind of metaphorical death, and you need to restore and heal from that. The Star card talks about bringing your energy centers back in alignment. Once again, we have this element here with the Star of universal guidance. So it's saying that I will guide you. You don't need to push this week. You don't need to make the decisions. I will guide you and I'll let you know when the time is right for you to move forward in the future. That Page of Swords card can be that, the initial rumblings of progress, of change. It can be the Wind of Change card. So for me, with the Star card, this says that once you have healed, once you have rebalanced, that's when things will start to shift and not before then. So, that's what you're being called to do this week, to take the time out, and when things are ready to shift, they will. But it's up to divine timing, so we don't want to make any strong decisions around that this week. And after that process has taken place, Gemini, that's when I see that you're going to have the strength and courage to move forward on your quest of life. Yeah, so the Strength card, it can say that after you've gone through this healing process, then once you're rebalanced, once you've tamed inner demons, once you've come back into alignment, then it's all limitless, infinite potential from there on in. Again, we have an angel here. This reading is full of, signs of divinity. It's the universe that's deciding when the time is right for you to move forward after you've healed, after you've, brought sides of yourself into compassion, after you've tamed any demons, after you're in a, really good place again emotionally. And once you are, Gemini, this is when we see the action come in. We've got two number 8s here, I just wanted to point out, which is the number of, mastery and power. So, it's like once you come into this place of balance, that's when you're back in your sense of self-mastery. That's when it's the right time to move on. It's a very different energy from that 5 of Pentacles, which is, sort of being the victim, being the martyr. Well, this sees you here being in a powerful state and knowing, here, once you get to this place, after the healing has taken place, you'll have the wisdom to know that, you did actually, you've mastered the lessons that you needed to hear. So you just needed to let it unfold and play out in its own divine timing, and then is the right time to move forward to something that's much more fulfilling for you. Because I think once you get to the stage, you'll realize that that situation that you've had to let end or move away, had to let come to pass, was not sort of it wasn't everything that you wanted. It was an 8 of Cups reality, but there was a fundamental piece missing, and you could never have that full sense of happiness, of joy, harmony, and emotional fulfillment. And, in the near future, this is your, near future, that's when it will be time to shift that no to a yes and say, okay, now it's time for me to turn my back and start walking towards the next chapter of my life. And yeah, the moon here is about tapping into your intuition. So you'll know through that divine guidance and through using your intuition when the right time is to move forward. And that's when, the transformation is really going to take place in your life, Gemini. And you'll be moving on to much bigger and better things. You'll be getting back onto your life path. That's why the death energy comes in the first place. So that's what I have for you this week, Gemini. I hope you enjoyed the reading. So taking a pause this week, not making any major decisions, allowing some healing, allowing this change to integrate, and then very soon you'll know when the right time is to move forward. So keep in mind, Gemini, this is a general reading. It won't be for every one of you. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know how it's playing out in your daily life. And I'll be back here with you next week for another reading.